This is Chagfood. We're a 3-acre market garden on the northeast edge of Dartmoor. We're growing ecologically produced vegetables under a community supported agriculture scheme for local residents in nearby villages. Chagfood started really as a result of a community meeting held in Chagford in 2008, which identified a clear need for more access to locally produced and ecologically produced vegetables around the town. So following that meeting, we got together a small core group of people to apply for funding to get the scheme off the ground, identify suitable sites where the scheme could be located, and also to apply for the planning permission necessary to get the infrastructure in place for the scheme to get off the ground.
My involvement with Chagfood started when I met Ed, who was already in the initial stages of setting up the scheme, and I'd been working as a grower previously for the last 8 years in organic horticulture and looking to set up a community project specifically in this area and growing vegetables. So it was a fortuitous moment to meet Ed and Izzy, who were in the beginning stages, and looking for someone with more growing experience to help do all the planning for cropping and to have a really full vegetable box scheme that was owned and run by the community but was also to a very high professional standard. And my vision for it is for it to excel in terms of the quality of the produce, whilst also including as many people as possible. We currently have 48 members who we supply a weekly share of the harvest to. Membership for Chagfood is an annual subscription which runs from April to April the following year, and the membership fees for a large share are £600 for the year, and for a small share are £440, and that works out at about £15 a week for a large box, which will have up to 20 different items in it, and for a small box it's £11 a week with the same number of items but usually a smaller quantity.
So we're on a 3-acre site, actually with 2 different landlords, but we start initially on this first on 1 acre, which we rent on a 5-year farm business tenancy agreement. We have, in terms of infrastructure on the site, we have 3 polytunnels, 2 large tunnels and 1 small potting tunnel. We have 2 sheds, a packing shed and an office, and a compost toilet. I first heard about CSA through, I was actually asked to write an article on community supported agriculture, and I visited several CSAs up and down the country. So through doing that I met the growers, heard their stories about how the schemes got off the ground, and it quickly became apparent to me that was a kind of model that was kind of ideal for where we wanted to take the future of local food. So the initial grant we got to get the scheme off the ground was from Making Local Food Work, and we also had a subsequent grant from the Dartmoor National Park Sustainable Development Fund.
And then we've now set ourselves up as a community interest company, which means we're run by the members but we control the day-to-day processes.
So we have an active community of members who like to come and get involved down in the field on the harvest day each week. They come and help with the packing, a lot of the harvesting, a lot of preparing the bunches of flowers for the boxes.
I've sort of been committed to organic and local vegetables for years, really. I brought all my children up on them. But I've never been part of a scheme where I can actually see them growing, and I've done the weeding in the spring, and I've actually seen them evolving week by week, and they're so fresh. And so the difference is, things like the cherry tomatoes are just so not like anything else you can buy.
I particularly like bringing the kids, on the harvesting days. My daughter likes to cut the flowers, and Frankie doesn't do much harvesting, but he likes to play around with the football or whatever. But also, they'll have bonfires at Halloween or barbecues, in midsummer, that kind of thing. And it's just really nice for everybody who's member of the scheme, who gets a box, to get together and just hang out. And it's just a lovely way to meet other people in the wider community.
Fundamental to our principles is to create a very sustainable food scheme. We've got a very biodiverse field with lots of wildflowers and weeds and loads and loads and loads of different types of insects.
You hold it now. My favourite kind of fruit or vegetables is sugar snap peas. When they're small you can eat them whole, but when they get bigger you can peel them and then open them and then eat the peas inside.
I like eating tomatoes because they're really juicy and sweet, and I like picking them when they're ripe. I really like coming here because it's a lot of fun.
We try and grow as many varieties of vegetables that we can within the season available to us. So that is everything from indoor winter salad crops, tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, and anything weird and wonderful that we can get away with. Like we've got melons at the moment, just a few. And then outside we run through all the main vegetable crops that you could buy in a supermarket. So we've got carrots, potatoes, beetroot, fennel, kohlrabi, calabrese and broccoli, and loads of courgettes and squashes. And what we try and do is grow as many interesting varieties as possible, because obviously in England the season is quite short and we want to give people really good value for money.
Well, we heard from about Chagfood right from the very beginning when they were looking for grant funding, and it just seemed such an amazing opportunity to have that slap bang on our doorstep that we signed up straight away. These kinds of schemes, I think, are so important to the future. If you can grow food directly on your doorstep, reducing food miles, there's going to be a degree of protection, if you like, from rising fuel prices, and if we're producing food as we are in a manner that is so simpatico with the land, you're going to reduce on fertiliser costs and everything else.
We all strongly believe in organic principles. We're not certified because as a small local market garden we want to keep our costs down, but we only know how to grow organically. So all our principles are ecological, and we buy organic certified seed. Our input substrates are all certified, and that's a very strong belief for us.
Well, for us the benefits of the box are, A, we know exactly where it's come from. You know, we know Chinny, she's a friend, but we know how passionate she is about her food, and it's all grown, you know, in this beautiful environment 20 minutes from where we live. And we get a large box. There's 4 of us in our family, and that's just perfect for the week.
Here at Chagfood we use a horse, Samson, for the majority of the cultivation and tillage on the field. We use him primarily because we think it's important that traditional farming skills are kept alive for the next generation. Secondly, we use him really to improve the health of our soil, to reduce compaction, and thirdly, to reduce the scheme's dependence on fossil fuels, because we think it's important that we demonstrate sustainability of local food schemes. Good boy. Good boy. We try and use traditional farming tools, one of which is a seed fiddle we've been using for broadcasting green manure seed.
Projects like Chagfood help young growers in the way that they provide employment. It's quite difficult as a young grower to get experience and to get paid experience, and also to work within a supportive environment where you can learn the really valuable skills that you need to have in order to grow great produce. So for me as a grower, I was looking for that opportunity. I didn't want to set up my own business and have all the responsibility heaped on my shoulders. I wanted to work with other people. I wanted to be able to rent land of someone that was going to be supportive and enable us to do what we wanted to do. And that's luckily what CSA gives young growers like Ed and I. The thing that I would recommend to people who are interested in setting up a CSA project is to really identify first a need for it within the community so that you know that you've got the support, and also to acquire the skills to do it. So you need to be able to work out what kind of land you need, what implements you're going to use to cultivate it, and then whether you can grow the vegetables. I think the best thing is to really plan it a lot. It took us 2 years to plan setting it up, and we're still learning.
I think it's also important to integrate yourselves with the local farming community as well, because there's a lot of expertise and experience specific to the area that we've managed to get from local farmers who've lent us tools and implements and knowledge and experience as well.
Yeah, and for me, I think that the wider CSA movement is going to grow more and more as food prices increase and fuel prices increase. And what we're trying to do on quite a small scale is show that local food can be very resilient to these price increases, whilst also teaching people more about how food is produced and engaging with the community more. But fundamentally what we want is to increase the land, increase the membership to within a sustainable number within Chagford, and then hopefully it will be replicated in other models through Devon and further.
Near it, very, very thinly.
What I'm most proud of about the Chagfood is that we've managed to achieve quite a lot in quite a short amount of time. That's largely down to the fact that we were lucky enough, fortunate enough to get the funding in the first place, but it's also because of the fact I think that we're much more of a grower-led scheme.
Yeah.
And we have the incentive, really, Chinny and myself have the incentive to get the scheme up and running, to produce a professional product and sell it to the members in order to secure our livelihoods, as it were, really. So we have achieved a lot in a short amount of time, and for me that's kind of what I'm most proud of.
Yeah, I think for me, as a grower, it's all about the vegetables. I just get really excited about our veg every week. It looks amazing, it tastes amazing, the members love it, and when we get emails back from people saying that they're really pleased, that's what I'm most proud of. And everything else, the business, the financing, working it all through gives me an enormous sense of satisfaction, but it's the veg that's just delicious, and it grows.
Yeah.
Working on a farm.